Welcome to Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. I'm JJ Flizanes, your host, and thank you for downloading today's show. So today I'm going to answer a question that was on the Manifestation Challenge. It wasn't really a question, it was a comment, and I had a story for it. And obviously the podcast is a much better way for me to tell a story than for me to type it out. Not to mention that a lot of you might need to hear this as well. So someone said that someone used my credit card in another state. It's challenging to deal with, but it's not going to stop me. It's just a hiccup. I've taken steps already with the bank and the seller. Whoever used my card number won't be receiving the shoes they ordered. And I said, ooh, I have a story for this. So the story is that years ago, I was with a friend and we were probably doing a workout, and I had tried to get gas at my clients either earlier that day or the day before. And I used 3 different credit cards. Well, two were debit cards and one was a credit card, and they were all declined. I couldn't get gas. It was really hard, and I checked with the bank and they all had fraud on them. And I thought to myself, see, we want to say someone did this to me. And of course, yes, someone stole your numbers. Someone did something. But the more empowering thought is, how did I attract this? How did I get into alignment with this? And I knew exactly where it took place because maybe not even a year before that, I had gone to a Ross where I ended up using those 3 cards with one transaction. I think I had forgotten the PIN on one of the cards, and so I decided that I was going to use a different card, and then I remembered it was a business write-off, so then I took that card out and used the other card. So I knew exactly where they stole the numbers from because it was the only place I had ever used 3 cards in one transaction. So that was good to know. But I had to take some kind of ownership for that. Otherwise, you just feel victimized, like someone's out to get you. So I thought to myself, how did I attract this? And it came very quickly to me. When I go to the store and I use a card, I often, still to this day, I'm not completely over it, I often get a little triggered or offended when someone asks to see my ID. Now, I know there's a whole bunch of you out there who write on the back of your card, please ask for ID. Or some of you want them to ask because you know that's them making sure you're the right person. And that's great. And I work to and aim to have that response. But up until that moment, my response was always, you don't trust me? Like, you look at me and you think that I'd steal from somebody? And that was what got triggered every single time someone would ask me for my ID. Now, mind you, most of my cards, all of them, business and personal, have my picture on them. So if you really need to see my ID past then, I'm like, really? Like, look at the card. But I'd get annoyed. And I really would get annoyed thinking that the person would be judging me, thinking that I wasn't trustworthy. And that was a huge trigger for me. So how did I attract this? I attracted it because I would get triggered every time and think, I'm trustworthy. I'm not going to steal from somebody. And so it put me in alignment with this situation. Oftentimes people will take the position of, well, how did I get robbed? I would never rob somebody. How are you saying that I created this? I would never do this to anybody else. No, but you're in the frequency of receiving it. When you're in the frequency of being aware of someone taking advantage of you, you're more likely to be taken advantage of because you're constantly looking over your shoulder and wondering when the next bad thing's going to happen to you. You're setting yourself up in that frequency with the people who do that kind of thing. So it's a very interesting position to take, but once I understood that, I started to take responsibility and go, oh, okay. Because again, if it's just being a victim, there's really nothing you can do about it. So use your manifestations, use what shows up in your life as a way to show you where you're not helping yourself. I was not helping myself by getting offended when the person behind the counter wasn't taking time to look at me and my card and look at me. I mean, they weren't really assessing if they thought I was trustworthy or not. I took it a little bit further than that. I was being a little sensitive to that. And so I was in alignment with people that do that. Okay? So there's the story. And I invite you to look at life that way. When it comes to manifesting, people think it just means manifesting good things. And so if you're not getting good things, you're thinking, well, I'm not a good manifester. Well, you are a good manifester. You just might not be conscious of what it is you're attracting. So take a look around. If you're getting a lot of things you don't like, it's an indication there's a lot of beliefs that don't serve you. And that would be the opportunity to go, oh, life is a mirror. Lessons are repeated until learned. What does this say about what I feel or what I believe? Another quick story. I have a friend who had a business, and this person hired people all the time. And a lot of the times those people didn't work out. And I remember being in another room, listening to a conversation between that person and an employee, and the employee getting yelled at. And it felt really abusive. It felt unnecessary and unprofessional. And I remember thinking to myself, I can't even believe that the person who's doing the yelling, the boss, doesn't get that the reason why they keep attracting people who aren't working out is because they're the common denominator. It's their belief system. It's their distrust. It's their expectations. It's their family issues that then keep reoccurring in their business. I find it really interesting, but there are a lot of people who don't want to look at that. And I was recently back on the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Doug did an interview with me on one of the normal days of the week, which is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I will share that show here because I wanted to come back on the Nice Guys regular shows. And when I say regular, for those of you that don't know, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Doug does interviews with business people and business owners. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's him and Strick, and sometimes other people like myself, and it's called Fuckery. And they basically talk about anything and everything. They play voicemails from their community. They answer questions. They talk about the cruise that's coming up with the Nice Guys in December. And I was back on the show. This is probably my third or fourth time being interviewed on the regular show. And I wanted to talk about the event, but from the perspective of self-growth versus business growth. And I will leave all of that to republishing it here, but I just want to say that the two are very intertwined. A lot of people write off business growth and they invest in strategies on marketing and advertising and social media and on learning more, and they'll invest hundreds and thousands of dollars because they see it as a return on their investment when they can sell more. And it's an easy sell. Money sells. People will pay lots of money to learn how to make money. But you're going to only grow, and your business is only going to grow as much as you grow. I mean, when you're the business owner, even if it's a side business, you're only going to grow to the comfort level that you have. And so the two are very intertwined, and I look forward to sharing the show with you. But I tell you that story because it links up to the business owner who kept thinking that every person that they hired was a bad person and they made a mistake because something bad happened. Yet the only common denominator is the boss hiring the people. So at what point do you let go of being the victim and thinking that everyone else is bad? And you go, well, what is it about me? What is it that I believe that keeps me finding these kinds of people that keep doing these things? So just food for thought today. Nice quick show. Lots going on here in the home front that we will share over the next coming couple of weeks. This week on Women, Men, and Relationships, Doug and I talk about anxiety and people pleasing. So if you want to come listen to that, come over to Women, Men, and Relationships. And I do appreciate those of you that are show jumping and downloading those episodes as well. I hope you're enjoying them. And again, remember that we are coming up on the next big step. And if you can't get to California for the live event, which I promise will change your life, get the virtual ticket. If you're someone who will do the work. Now, if you're not going to do it, then don't buy it. Don't waste your money if you're going to buy it and let it sit there. But if you're someone who's proactive or someone who wants to have some accountability, you could even form a group of people or do it with us again, because we're going to be doing some accountability for everybody who buys any ticket for the event for 3 months after the event. So I hope to see you somewhere, sometime, some way. And in the meantime, stay well, and I'll see you here next week.